Hi everyone, welcome to the 17th episode of the Zicast. As always, I'm your host Ryan Ziaks, and today I'm joined by a DP and an editor, Julia Kusmenko and Ben Yeargin. Say hi, guys.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
coming on.
Of course. And once again for being TD'd by episode 5 guest Kate Turner. So thank you for the help, Kate. And to give you guys a bit of a gist about the show, I don't know if you're how acquainted you are, but yeah, it's just a way for me to get to know my friends on a deeper level, because people are always more interesting than they think they are, and of course everyone has a story. So with that said, how about we get into things? And I'd like to just ask you guys to tell us a bit about yourselves.
Okay. I'm from New Jersey. I came to Quinnipiac because I really like their film program, and I've been really happy to meet some really great people here. Jeez.
All right. I grew up in Brookfield, Connecticut, which is about an hour from Quinnipiac. On a good day, it's like 50 minutes, but on average, it's about an hour. While in Brookfield, one of my main hobbies was playing baseball. I still love watching baseball, playing it. Big supporter of the New York Mets. There's a Yankee or Red Sox fan in here. Boo. But I came to Quinnipiac mainly for the journalism program, and I wanted to have freedom in what I do there that I think other schools I got into didn't have that. And since being here, I've joined the Chronicle. I've done stuff for QBSN, Q30, been guests on, well, the Zicast, but also some WQAQ shows. And I just finished being the managing editor of the Quinnipiac Chronicle, just where I edited a bunch. I reported on the women's basketball team there, and I've really enjoyed my time at Quinnipiac because it's been a time of growth.
Awesome. And as I can see, you're the best in the world.
Indeed, I am the best in the world. Or I am a supporter of the best in the world.
Awesome. And Kuz, I know, Ben, you got into a lot of your positions here. How about you, Kuz? What are some of the things you did or were a part of?
I was heavily involved in QFS, and that kind of sprouted into my position working on my capstone as DP. Just a lot of camera work and working on different films with people, and that's been a lot of fun. Trying different positions and seeing what I like. You know, I came into college actually as an editor, so it was an interesting trajectory to end up doing camera and really enjoying it. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that's the kind of growth you get here, like what Ben said. So we laid the groundwork. So now we could kind of get into some topics. So I kind of very curious as to how you both met and knew you found someone special.
Oh, that's nice.
Thanks, Ryan. Do you want to tell the story?
You
got it.
Sure.
You got it.
So we lived down the hall in Ledges, and freshman year we didn't know each other, but I was studying in the guys' quiet room.
Yeah.
And then Ben walked in and asked if he could come in, and I was studying, but you asked if you could come in, and I said yes. And then we were sitting across from each other and just started talking, and I did not end up studying. And it just went from there.
Yeah. Then we had our first date, which was in Ledges room 453 on my roommate's beanbag chair. He does not still have that beanbag chair.
No.
He asked me to throw it away at the end of the year.
We watched The Office.
We watched The Office together. The episode where Toby leaves, and Michael is just overjoyed that Toby left. And from there, we've been going strong for, it'll be 2.5 years on May 2nd.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Ledges. No place more romantic.
Oh, no.
Oh. Have you been in Ledges, Ryan?
I have not.
Don't go.
I have not heard the greatest things.
Yeah.
It's quite a place.
It is a place on this campus.
It is a spot.
Yeah.
But looks like something good came out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From
I'd say so.
That's incredible, the kind of connections you can make here.
Yeah.
As you both know, and kind of like I said, all the special things that can use one of your words, sprout from that.
Yeah.
That's very funny. From Ledges to, gonna miss some places, the Crescent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and now onwards.
Yep.
So kind of on that same note of your origins, I'd like to ask you as to what drew you to the things you do creatively and professionally?
I think I've always been into things that, push me creatively. Like I originally, forever ago, as a kid, I loved photography, and I just took pictures of everything. And I loved to draw and paint, and I was just, that side of me was always very engaged in things that were like visually exciting. And then, and then I, picking up the camera, then it kind of divulged into video. And then I went to a high school called Communications High School. So it was a vocational school, and I took a lot of classes in a lot of the similar things that you learn here. And I think from there just built like my interest in it and my passion for it. And then coming here, that was something that I really wanted to continue to pursue. And I mean, I wouldn't say there's one particular avenue, but all things creative I think are really exciting to do.
Now I'll add, Jules is excellent at what she does.
Oh, that's very kind.
I haven't met someone as talented as her here, and that's one of the many things I love about her.
Oh.
Like, have you seen her drawings?
Oh, gee.
Not yet, but I've seen her work, and I very much
Her-
to what you're saying.
Her drawings are amazing. Like, amazing.
Thanks.
I don't doubt that.
It's too generous, but
No, it's not.
Well,
It's
thank
true.
you.
It's true.
It's very kind.
Yeah.
I do have some bias, but I think they're amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Awesome.
Like, objectively, I think they are.
Yeah. Yeah, in Communications High School, I bet I can guess what you did there. And I know it's always great, I mean, kids that are into things like art, you just kind of do them your whole life, and then they kind of develop over time. And a lot of other guests that are in communications programs like we are started young,
Yeah.
and then built it up through the years. So kind of, I'm curious as to what your story on this regard has been.
With creativity,
Or just creatively and professionally. Like, what kind of drew you to the things you do, like being a part of Cron and reporting, journalism, like you said?
well, creatively, I guess the most creative I was in middle school. I drew sports team logos, and I like doing that, also because I really liked sports. But what drew me to journalism, I think I really like language. I really like expressing language in the best way you possibly can. I love rap music because I see it as a form of poetry and a form of self-expression. I really respect and admire people who can use language well to persuade, to educate, and to communicate their points. So that always drew me to writing of some kind, whether it was journalism or even creative writing. It always drew me to that. I was good at it, or I think I still am good at it. I like to read, so I figured I'd major in journalism here. And I also like being able to talk to people, and like the Zicast slogan, I believe everyone has a story, and I like being able to tell those stories in the best way that I possibly can. And that's why I keep doing journalism. That's why I want to do it in the future. And in the field of journalism that I like, of sports reportings, I think the sport doesn't matter, because sports itself, I think, are vehicles of telling stories about life. Like, you can tell the story of adversity. You can tell the story of an underdog. You can tell the story of someone who just never got a shot, someone who's just been dealt such a bad hand. You can tell all that through sports. So that's why I like sports reporting.
Wow. My English major senses are tingling hearing you talk about all that. That is incredible, and I like the way that you're combining storytelling and sports, because like you said, they do go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And of course, WWE is
Great transition, Ryan.
It's quite literally all of that. And we're not even getting to the WWE topics yet. But it really does combine all of those things. Or even like the Rocky movies, for example, the way that the Rocky Balboa's career goes, underdog, champion, older, and trying to reclaim glory. So that is interesting, that kind of ways sports can take you, and the way you can frame certain things. And that's really incredible. And obviously, I'm a big language guy as well through writing, and I always think it's interesting artistic mediums that convey language without speaking, like film.
Yeah.
Because a film has language of its own. Theater can have language of its own, like wrestling, like moments in wrestling, like WrestleMania, for example. Cody Rhodes is struggling on the ropes. Seth Rollins is struggling on the ropes. Roman has a chair. Roman can hit one of them. Roman hits Seth Rollins instead of hitting Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes hits him with his finisher and beats him.
Yeah.
Roman choosing revenge over retaining his title. So those kind of storytelling moments, like you didn't have to say anything. It's just known if you know the lore.
Yeah.
So I think that's really incredible, and
we'll get into it later, but there's so many moments like that in WWE. That's why I like professional wrestling so much, because storytelling, it can have such good storytelling when it's done well.
And this WrestleMania was pretty peak,
Yeah.
I would say, and we'll like we said, we'll get into it later, but to kind of continue onwards, I've had a lot of your suite mates on here, Kuz.
Oh,
and,
yes.
Michaela Picard may or may not have gone me for having all of her suite mates but her on here.
I heard that.
I was publicly outed. I told her to trust the process.
Yes.
But
I had no doubt. You have so many people that you're going through, and I had no doubt that it was gonna all work out.
Yes, but she did indeed call me out. But I'd like to ask you kind of how your work with your the work you've done with your suite mates, and how being around such creative people has helped you.
I mean, absolutely. I think being in an environment where everyone kind of has this similar passion and drive, it just fosters creativity, because you all have a similar goal and want to help each other reach that. And if it's personal projects or if it's school projects, collaborating and using each other's strengths to kind of come together and work on something together. It's just a really cool thing to be with people that share interests and want to work together. And it's great that you can both do that professionally and then be friends and enjoy being together. And you bond through having long days and times of stress and things like that, having to problem solve and things breaking. And, it's good when you have people that you care about and are alongside you for that.
Yeah, I do think it's one of the coolest things to be able to work with your friends creatively while also them being your friends. I've always kind of felt like you guys in your room literally talking to just about all of you, Michaela. You're all very kind of balanced in terms of what you do, and all very varied in terms of your skill sets. Like Michaela, Julia direct a lot. Emily's very involved with marketing. Jen does about a bit of everything.
Yeah.
And of course you DP, lighting, things like that. So it all kind of it's like skill sets that very much work together. And I think that's an incredible thing. And of course incredible connections to have moving forwards as we all move on creatively. And to kind of continue to talk about the things you do, I'd like to ask you about like kind of like the art of DPing and lighting and how you go about it, like how your process for it.
I mean, obviously we're still out the gate. Like that's it can be very pompous to be like, oh, I know my methods of we're all 20-year-old filmmakers. But I think I'm also very interested in psychology. I have a psych minor, and I love to look at things and how they make you feel and how it will make the audience feel. And even if it's how you frame a shot or the type of lighting and shadows you want to go for, something can be visually engaging and very aesthetically pleasing. Like you could look at something and it, it just looks like a painting almost, like one still frame could look like just a composed shot. But really below the aesthetics and things like that is how it makes you feel and how it, I think one of the coolest things of film, of journalism, of storytelling in general is just its ability to connect people, of like there's a story that might not pertain to you directly, but the characters and the, emotions are, on a human level, you can connect to that. And that's the magical thing of film, is anyone can watch a film and relate to some aspect of it. And, people from different backgrounds can connect through storytelling.
Yeah. And kind of that visual storytelling we talked about before, encompassed in different ways. And just to explain this, sometimes I forget to explain things. DP means director of photography.
Yes, it does.
For anyone who does not know.
Yeah. Yes.
So mind explaining that job a little bit for anyone who does not know?
Sure. It's a lot of camera work, being able to operate the camera, if on a budget of a much higher dollar amount, you wouldn't, as the director of photography, you would just be crafting the shots and having a camera operator do your work. But we're a little low budget, so you kind of do both. But you also work with your lighting team, and you try to figure out how you want the shot to look. It's kind of like what you see on screen, you craft in how you want it to. There's someone that does props, and then there's someone that obviously tells the story and how you want the characters to move. Like the director will block people, but then you're framing it and how you would like it to look, pretty much.
Yeah, that's a credible job. Of course, very important, and yeah, it is always incredible frame people up. And I just really like when you talk about how storytelling can be so meaningful to people in so many different ways, and it all starts with what's in the frame. The mise en scène, as the most pretentious film term goes.
I was going to say that, but I feel like let's not throw that in there.
Mise en scène.
No, you're so right. I mean, it's a artistic expression of the human experience. Is really, it's creatively engaging, but it's also on a deeper level more about the stories that people share.
Yes, because everyone has a story. Yeah. I'm getting a lot of great reels moments here. So thank you for explaining your work, because that is
I
think
I did
to hear about.
Poor job of it, but
No,
I think you did a great job.
Oh, well,
because it's something that's very important. I always think it's important to know every aspect of filmmaking, so to get to hear that and continue to learn more about just simply getting in the frame, what needs to be in the frame is great to hear. So to kind of ask you about your work, Ben. I like to just kind of ask you about your work with Chronicle and kind of what you've done there. Any specifics?
Do you want me to start off what I started doing and then what I'm doing now, or what I've just been doing for the past year?
You could go from wherever, but yeah, maybe go from the start. Just
sure.
Out of curiosity.
So I started off mainly covering sports. I don't even know what the list is now. I've done both women's and men's ice hockey, both men's and women's basketball, baseball, softball. Haven't done lacrosse because I'm not a lacrosse guy. I've done volleyball. I've done field hockey. So I covered a wide array of sports, and then I became the associate sports editor, and I continued to do sports. I learned a little bit how to do layout. But really what I refined was my skill of editing. I just edited sports, but I also got used to giving critiques and also receiving critiques. And I think that really helped with my growth. And now as managing editor, Julia says it, she's like, my managing editor. So I sometimes say that. But as managing editor, I'm responsible for editing every section. And I think this position, it was tough at times, but I think it was really rewarding because I don't care how many views my articles get. I don't care how many people I help as long as it's just one. But what I really value is seeing other people grow and seeing other people get better at their craft of storytelling, tell really meaningful, important, sometimes fun, entertaining works of storytelling. And I'm very grateful that I got to help some people do that. And I hope I did some of that too with my talking about women's basketball or
Mm.
writing articles on things that sometimes are just goofy. Like I did an article about in defense of your mom jokes. It's goofy.
Human
but
interest stories.
yeah, human interest. But another one I did was I wrote a feature in a class about someone who grew up in Sandy Hook during the Sandy Hook shooting. And those kind of stories mean a lot to me. To be able to do that. And just as managing editor, I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad I got to see people grow, and I'm glad that I got to improve as a storyteller and as an editor and fundamentally a communicator.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. And it's incredible that you were able to touch upon so many different things through journalism. I know mainly you say you did sports, but also doing kind of human interest stories, like you said. You kind of were able to get everything kind of in one and kind of understand journalism kind of from the inside out in that way. I always think it's interesting going from someone like who gets critiqued to giving critiques. And I think I have the potential to be doing that, what I do, in terms of what I do at Q30.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting to kind of, that kind of juxtaposition from being, like I said, being the person whose work gets critiqued and kind of taking that into what you do in terms of giving other people critiques.
Have you noticed that in transitioning from just being a cast member of Q Tonight to being AP, like getting into that role?
Yeah, I mean, I still get critiques from our amazing EPs, one of which I might be looking at right now. But yeah, I mean, being an AP for Quinnipiac Night, just to kind of get into that quick, like it's so much fun, and it's such a great learning experience because I get to make films basically every week with all these like really funny, talented people, and I get to kind of be my own DP, framing stuff up. Well, I have some great crew members who help me with it as well. But yeah, like it is interesting kind of reaching like a leadership team status to kind of answer more of what you said.
Right.
And yeah, like it's kind of nice to take those higher roles and be able to kind of try to lead by example for everyone. But mainly it's just fun being a part of the group and kind of being able to represent the club more.
Right.
That's awesome.
And thank you, yeah. And I know it's like with you with Kron, I know that you're retiring from your position.
I'm washed up.
You're
washed
old.
up.
I am old in a Kron sense.
Yeah, the redemption arc, comeback arc.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
No.
Is this your first year as an AP?
It's my first semester, yeah.
Oh, right. Okay,
as
cool.
an AP.
How do you like it?
It's so much fun, like I said. It's just like the coolest thing in the world, which I know it's a very tough position, but it's just fun being able to make these films.
Yeah.
I've only been able to make 2 so far, so maybe I keep making them, and then I could get drained. But I just love filmmaking.
Yeah.
And it's cool because I could kind of, Kate and Aaron give me free reign to do what I want to do. So I could do all the crazy stuff, like all my crash zooms and things like that. So it's just a ton of fun.
That's awesome. It sounds like you do something different every week too, which I'm sure keeps it interesting.
Yeah. At least that's what I set out to do. Kind of set out to do bold things, but of course this isn't about me. But I'm happy to be able to kind of get into your work with Kron because I was very curious because I know you've done work for them.
Yep.
And I remember that's when we met. We met in the media suite.
We did. It was first semester. I was in there. I don't know what I was doing in there, but you and I hit it off and started talking. Yeah,
I remember I was quoted in an article because you asked me what my name was.
Yeah.
Major.
It was a Cat Murphy article. I don't know.
The hockey team. Attendance to the hockey games.
Oh, was it the hockey home opener?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was asked about that.
Yeah.
And you recognized my name from the article.
Yeah, because there's so few people that have a last name that starts with a Y or a Z. And I have a Y last name, so if I see another Z, I remember it. The end of the alphabet, gang. Exactly. I remember that.
You were always the last people in class.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Always last in the lines, elementary school.
Yeah.
We've been through it. It made us better people.
Yeah.
It humbled us.
We got patience from it, Jules.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's. Yeah, I'm glad. I never thought it ended the alphabet gang.
You,
Or
me,
like
Connor Youngberg is also part of that
Yeah.
gang. Can't think of anything else,
y-
anyone else
The
right
cool
now.
people are in the middle.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they're.
No.
Well, maybe we can have that discussion later.
Yeah.
But now I'd like to go back to kind of you and your work, Kuz, to ask you about your experience with your capstone.
Sure.
Relentless reflection.
It was a really great experience to work on something so long term that I've never done a project that we started in June and then are still working on it, almost a year later. I think just the credit to the people I've been working with, that they're all so talented and hardworking, that it's been a really cool experience to see everyone pour themselves into something for a common goal of trying to make it the best you can, and everyone putting their talents and applying them to one thing has been really interesting to see. And researching lighting, and that was a big learning curve. Was I have more experience with camera, but learning lighting was a fun challenge. It was really cool to try and research it and learn more about, to apply it. And but that was my position, and then everyone else was just doing as much research and prepping as they physically possibly could, and all of that culminated into the end product, which I'm also very curious to see. But we are I'm very proud of everyone that I've worked with, because everyone poured themselves and worked immensely hard to try and make it the best they can.
Yeah. I know quite literally a lot of sleepless nights.
Oh, yeah.
Like literally sleep. As I talked to Julie about it, I've talked to Ronnie Diesel about it at the gym, and they've both told me a lot about it. So I know it was very difficult.
We went to bed every day when the sun came up, which if I give any 2 cents to people doing a capstone below me, like in a year below me, make it during the day and indoors, because you film in February.
It's cold.
So like where we were doing it at night, I know some people were filming mostly outside, and I would have hated that. So, that was just, we were up near Albany. It was very snowy and cold out, and, but yeah, we didn't sleep, but it all worked out,
In your cabin.
Yeah, we were
80s
in our
themed
cabin. Yeah. And Michaela, who was our AD, did a great job at a few of us worked on it, but she did a great job finding the house, because she combed through like 400 houses and found a good one. So that was just really cool. And everyone did a lot of work to prep.
And I'm sure it all paid off. I'm very excited.
I'm excited to see it too.
Yeah.
Me too. Me too. I really am.
It's great, like I said, working with your friends, always fun, and to get to make something like this, while also being in the kind of this huge group of all the other communication students who have their capstones coming out. And I'm very excited to see each one.
Me too.
And it was great to hear about your experience, because I know it's something very surreal, probably fever dreamish.
Oh, yeah. Well, we were delusional for half of the time we were there, but
A couple days after too.
yeah, but no, it was really cool. Also, it's just a learning experience, because we all are young people trying to do something very ambitious, and along the way you just learn. Every day I was learning, like, okay, this was a mistake, or this is something I'd like to do better, or I think it was just a really cool experience to try and just do better every day. And even after the fact, there's things I do differently, and it was a cool trial and error type of thing that it really helped for even future projects. I know so many more things that I wouldn't have otherwise. So
as it goes, doing film projects, I'm curious, any specific moments that come to mind in regards to that, like good or bad?
I mean, it was just minor. There are, bigger things, but I'd say, like, even in a minor sense with camera, like, paying attention to things like even ISO or white balance, or things that, change when you go inside and outside, and being, diligent enough to pay attention to minor details like that. And, or even Well, also, we worked like 14-hour days, finding a balance between giving your all and then also like going to eat and going to the bathroom and like taking time for yourself and just,
taking a breath.
Taking a breath, right. Like finding that balance and, trying to still give your all, but also maintain sanity. So, it was a really cool learning.
I feel like that's the film industry in a nutshell. Giving your all while trying to stay sane as you navigate this crazy, crazy world.
Yeah.
So that was all incredible to hear about. So now, Ben, we're into some of the good stuff. I'd like to ask you kind of where your fandom for WWE stems from. And I know you watch Tuku, so kind of your guys' thoughts on the company post-Mania.
Well, it started for me. I think I was sick freshman year of college. And I was browsing my phone, and I came across WWE Loudest Crowd Moments. And I watched that, and I was like, whoa! And it really started from there. And I think it cultivated itself more really around WrestleMania 39. I didn't watch the whole pay-per-view, which I wish I did. I wish I watched the Gunther, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus triple threat live. That match was so good.
A lot of slaps.
Oh, yeah.
Shot fest, as they say.
I love it. But it started there, and over the summer, where you have a lot more free time, I would make a conscientious effort to watch Raw, SmackDown, watch the pay-per-views, Night of Champions, or one of the Saudi shows, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam. I would make an effort to watch all of those. And then throughout the school year, I would keep up. And obviously I have Connor, Jen, Clever, you to talk about wrestling with. So that would help cultivate it more. I'd go out of my way to watch matches of my favorite wrestlers. Gunther. Love Gunther. And it really spread from there. And I went to a couple live shows. I went to a SmackDown in Boston back in September. NXT Deadline, which was in Bridgeport in December. And I really just started to appreciate the art of wrestling more. Like the technical side of it, like a Kurt Angle or a Bret Hart wrestling who absolutely know what they're doing. Character work, as in an LA Knight, The Rock, who they're both good in ring, but they're not like great workers. And really appreciate guys who I think can do both to a T, like a Gunther, like a Kurt Angle, and I'd even argue a Chad Gable, Kazuchika Okada in AEW. And my respect for the art, and I think it's an art form, grew from there.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Ryan, I could be very wrong, but didn't you say that you've been a WWE fan for like 10 years?
Really, like kind of lifelong.
Wow.
My older brother I also had on here was a big wrestling fan when we were kids. I always kind of just followed him and stuff he did. So we watched wrestling together.
That's cool.
Which was fun. We had like all the belts and stuff. We'd watch. We used to we watched Raw and SmackDown. This was pre WWE Network and like Peacock, things like that.
Yeah.
So we never would really watch pay-per-views. So we'd be up late with my mom and she would be looking it up online and giving us the results of the matches.
Oh, that's cool.
Like with John Cena would get a big win, I'd get all hype.
Was Cena your favorite growing up?
He was, yeah.
Do you remember your reaction when he lost to Punk in Money in the Bank 2011? You were probably 8 or 9?
Yeah, I remember the pipe bomb.
Yeah.
I remember that whole era, and it's hard to relentlessly reflect on my exact emotions. It's hard to exactly remember how I felt. But I remember thinking the whole storyline was cool.
Right.
Like CM Punk beating Cena, winning the title, then kind of
left the company.
Then leaving the company essentially.
Leaving
the company. So I remember that was very epic. But yeah, a lot of great wrestling memories. Like I always have the DVDs of all the pay-per-views.
Oh,
stacked.
really? That's cool.
And a lot of great memories. And my brother and I still obviously keep up with it now.
Right.
And I would always watch pay-per-views with him. But now getting here, knowing Casey McNichol usually sees the show, and you, Jen, Connor, there's a lot of wrestling fans here, so I've been able to kind of watch it with more people, which is a lot of fun.
Who are your favorites now?
Favorites now? It's interesting because I don't really have specific favorites, but I have a lot of guys that I really appreciate and love. Like I have to admit, I'm a big Roman guy.
I love Roman too. I really respect Roman.
Mm-hmm.
I really respect Roman's reign.
Yes.
I like him.
He just has an incredible presence, and that he's a lot of things, but he's very imposing. But he's also like kind of funny.
Oh, dude,
Unironically
so funny.
Very funny. Like
So
his
funny.
nicknames, he has like a million different nicknames, and they're all just feel so tough to say out loud.
Like Tribal
the
Chief.
Tribal Chief, the Needle Mover.
Yeah.
He's in God mode. He's addicted to greatness. Like it's just
It's greatness on another level.
Exactly, it's greatness on another level.
Yeah.
And like all his matches, they always have that big feel. He always has that like just big presence, and that's why I think that him losing the title is kind of a good thing. Cause I want to see him like go to Hollywood and be in movies and things like that. Cause I think that he could really crush it on a different level, like we've seen from The Rock, John Cena, Batista.
Right.
I think Roman can very clearly be that next guy to be a big wrestler in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm excited.
That would be cool.
And I know people were saying when Cody pinned him, he had like a smile on his face. And I know I was thinking like something an interview John Cena had where he talked about how difficult it was kind of having the company on your shoulders at all these main events. And now Roman doesn't have to do that anymore. Like whenever Roman appears, it could just be because he wants to have fun wrestling. And so that's why I'm excited for him going forward, like probably facing The Rock next year at WrestleMania. I assume.
Yeah. I love that smile because I think it could represent so many things. I think it could represent one, like you said, Ryan, how he's happy. He doesn't have the weight of the company on him anymore, literally and figuratively. He's happy for Cody, that Cody finally finished his story.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like you got me, but I'll be back. Or maybe it's a smile that I finally got Seth Rollins. I don't care if I lose this belt.
Interesting.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I think he's so good as a character actor. And you're
really
right.
is.
He's so funny. Like, I remember at Crown Jewel when he was facing LA Knight and he did to mock LA Knight. That was so funny.
That's another one. I remember this first match against Cody. He was like pinning him. It was like a simple 2 count.
Yeah.
He just looks at the camera and goes, "Yeah." And I just started dying.
And at 40, he did the crossroads on Cody, and Cody kicked out, and he's like, I know that's right. That move's weak. That move's weak.
Yeah, he's just so funny. And, of course, really like Cody as well.
Yeah.
Like he does have an incredible story. His father being an icon and him having his kind of difficulty creatively in the company, leaving, building himself up, coming back, and then finishing the story. And now he's going to hopefully have a really cool run as the new kind of babyface.
Yeah, I respect Cody a ton too. I think it shows a new shift in WWE that although Triple H and Vince McMahon did have a role in bringing him back, that a guy who was a perennial mid-carder left the company, started right now what's seen as their biggest competitor, destroyed Triple H's chair in that bit, indicating like a death to the WWE. He comes back and he's now the company man. I think I don't feel like that would happen.
Under previous regime.
Yeah, I think under Triple H that would happen. And even CM Punk coming back, who had such a big beef with Triple H, they resolved it, and now he's back doing great work with the company.
Yeah. Even like I know it was under Vince too, but like Drew McIntyre, kind of like how he kind of built himself up too.
Yeah.
That's another
did
thing,
the
like
same thing.
sports stories, to be able to kind of build and change. So I like to kind of flip the question on you. Who are some of your guys' favorites?
Favorite wrestlers?
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned I love watching Gunther / Walter. I love watching him wrestle. I think his character work is just you must respect him for what he does. I think he is the best. I think you could argue he's the best technical wrestler. I think easily in the company, maybe in the world. He knows so many different moves. Everything he does looks real. His character work is great. I love watching him wrestle, and I hope he's the one that dethrones Cody.
That's what I was.
I hope he
remembering.
dethrones him.
Yeah.
I love LA Knight. I love good character work. I hope he gets the U.S. title this year off of Logan Paul. The
Sounds
women's
crazy
side,
to
yeah. Women's side, I really love watching Asuka wrestle. I really think that, well, one, her gear, I think it's just so cool. But I think she's also a very technically sound wrestler. I love watching Jade Cargill. I can't wait to see what they do with her and how they build her up. And I think Bayley and Io Sky both are just so good at what they do.
How about you, Kuz? Any that stand out to you?
Well, I have to say I wasn't really familiar. I mean, I knew WWE obviously, but I was never really that familiar with the ins and outs of everyone. And then I think it was through Ben, through your interest in it, and then I think we sat down. I watched the freshman year, the what was it, WrestleMania that you watched, or was it?
You watched WrestleMania 39 with us.
Okay,
sophomore
yes,
year.
That's sophomore year. Yeah, I watched WrestleMania, and then I could kind of understand the interest in almost the theatrics and the drama of how how they do storytelling, how they the entrances and the costumes and I just think it was really I don't think people realize how much goes into it. It seems like it's just such a big high stage. It's really cool it's entertainment at
Yeah.
in its definition. It is really just so interesting to see. Through Ben, I would say I've enjoyed watching Cody Rhodes. I really like his entrance song.
That's pretty good.
I like Roman. I think he's pretty cool. I think he doesn't really have to do a lot to show that he's cool.
No, yeah.
He just is.
That's how I feel about Gunther too.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I have a lot of favorites. I also think Rhea Ripley's kind of badass. But
Yeah.
yeah. No, it's very cool, and I think I've grown to appreciate it. I mean, obviously I'm not like a huge fan, but I think I can appreciate how much goes into it. And also, they get hurt left and right.
Yeah.
Like it's not. People
yeah.
say, "Oh, well, it's fake," but
No, it's not.
you actually get hurt, and there's a lot of technical ability that goes into it.
Yeah.
I
I love main event Jey Uso.
Yes.
I think. Yeet. I think he's.
So we eat again.
No yeet.
No.
I think he's just so fun to watch, and I think he, more than anyone in the company, just has a swagger about him.
Now he's gonna get his shot. And I always say WWE, it's like theater with buff people. That's how I put it.
I've heard it as like a male soap opera.
It's a male soap opera.
Yeah.
And like especially like Roman, like the tribal court, tribal combat. It is like soap opera.
This is my family. This is my life.
Or Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
The
honorary oos.
Honorary oos. He's just not feeling oosy today.
Doesn't he say yeet?
Jey Uso does.
Says yeet.
Yeet.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. With Sami Zayn said, I forgot it was about Jey Uso. He said he's just not feeling oosy today, and then Roman starts laughing, and then they all start laughing.
Yeah. Have you seen the clip of Sammy's like doing a dance and Roman's cracking up? Sammy's like, I'm gonna do a little dance, and Roman's like, yeah, that's your dance. That's your dance.
That was an era.
Yeah.
I
I think it could come back with the new bloodline that The Rock is forming. By the way, The Rock's last run, fantastic.
The final loss.
Fantastic. It's like bordering on, he's a real scary authority figure, and also it's just a guy going through a midlife crisis.
Coming back to WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't he
really
a heel
loved it.
now?
He was a heel in the last run. I think he'll continue to be in the storyline.
Especially,
Was he like originally or no?
They kind of fluctuate.
Yeah.
They kind of like bounce. They could kind of do whatever. Like Roman will do that now. Like Roman will probably come back as a face.
Yeah.
To take on The Rock.
Yeah.
That's what I assume.
Like Rock, he started off his career as a face, and people did not like him at all. Kind of like Roman.
I was about to say, it kind of
like
sounds like Roman.
People did not like him because it was the company was pushing this guy, and we don't like him. Then The Rock turned heel, And that's where all of the finally The Rock has come back and all the Rock's insults. I don't know if I can say them on the Zicast. I don't know what the
Feel
rating
free.
is. Calling people jabronis, saying I'm gonna whip their candy ass. Calling just crowds trailer park trash.
It doesn't matter what you think.
That it doesn't matter. That was all when The Rock was a heel.
Wild.
That's I think if you agree with me too, that's where he's had the most success.
Oh,
in his
definitely.
career as a
I
heel.
feel like villains are always more interesting than heroes. And
Most of the time, I'd say so.
so it's like you think about some of the most iconic wrestlers, most of them are heels. Outside of like a Cena. Or most of them have been heels outside of like John Cena.
Yeah. Has Taker ever been a heel? I could see him being one.
Because his personality.
Yeah.
He's someone that's like kind of borderline.
Like a tweener?
In a way. Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of like a tweener, but mostly people cheer for him.
Yeah. Like, I think if you're lovable enough, no matter what you are, people cheer for you. Like Rhea Ripley, she's supposed to be a heel, but
Just became
with
a
the
face,
crowd
yeah.
reaction she's getting, she's a face. And LA Knight, I think until, like, during the miss of his run in Money in the Bank, he was officially a heel, but no one saw him.
Yeah.
No one saw him as that.
Or like someone like a Logan Paul. He's always gonna be a heel.
Yeah. Yeah. Logan Paul, unless...
Maybe at
Logan
some
Paul-
point. I just don't know if he'll
I think-
ever garner the respect to be a
Yeah.
to be a face full time.
Lately, I don't think he could be a face. I think he's
Yeah.
got to be a heel.
Hmm.
I hope he
It's
loses
just
the
wild
title.
he's a wrestler.
And he's good at it, too.
He is, yeah.
He is very good at it.
Yeah.
And in regards to The Rock, Kuz, the '90s, it was a crazy time.
Attitude era.
That's the Attitude Era. And
Well, wasn't it that WWE had this big, like, you can't swear, and then they got rid of it?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
They pushed for a long time of being a family-friendly company. That's why you had Hulk Hogan as the face saying, say your prayers, eat your vitamins. And Bret Hart kind of being like Canada's savior. And then they were losing in ratings to WCW, another rival promotion who was promoting Edge, the New World Order, Hulk Hogan turning heel, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, the Giant. And they would have Dennis Rodman on, do whatever, have these crazy rambunctious crowds. And same with Paul Heyman's ECW. And Vince McMahon saw that, and he's like, we are losing this battle. And WWF at the time was just going down in ratings. So that's when the Attitude Era started, and The Rock turned heel. Stone Cold Steve Austin came up, giving everyone the bird, chugging beer on TV. Who else? Triple H, Shawn Michaels coming out.
DX, yeah.
DX, yes, thank you.
The
Ryan.
essential
DX,
Attitude Era.
yeah. DX, Stone Cold, The Rock, McFoley,
Taker as well.
Taker, yeah. Kane coming out too.
Undertaker.
Yeah. And that's how it started, and that's how WWF rose up again.
Yeah, and it's interesting because that was kind of like peak
Yeah.
wrestling,
Yeah.
like, I was gonna say, like peak wrestling energy, and I feel like that's sort of coming back a little bit.
I think it is, man.
To
I
an
think it is.
extent. It's like balancing out where it's like you get the little bit more of the kind of raunchier stuff like that while also being buttoned up very like, well, especially like the athletes they have today. So it's like better athletically while being edgier.
Yeah.
Like The Rock when he's saying to the ref, The Rock doesn't F around.
Yeah.
Don't count.
Like, I think when they move to Netflix, it'll definitely get more edgy, which I'm excited for.
They're moving to Netflix?
Yeah. Starting in January 2025.
I actually did not know that before you said that.
Yeah.
I have no clue. That's good to learn.
I think, I'm not sure about SmackDown, but I think Raw is moving to Netflix starting in January 2025, and they can get edgier there because they don't have to appeal to advertisers.
Oh boy.
But right now it's just The Rock and Cody Rhodes and Roman and Seth can be edgy because, well, one, I think The Rock can do whatever he wants in the company. And like him and Cena, I think could do whatever they want and not say whatever they want and not be fired because they've earned that. And I think if you're around The Rock and around that, you also can be edgy too. Like Cody Rhodes would go on TV and cuss if he needed to in a promo. Seth Rollins not really. He would call Dwayne Diarrhea Dwayne, which terrible nickname. But Roman too can do the same thing.
My tribal chief. I had to.
Yeah.
I had to.
Solo Sikoa might be your new tribal chief, though, based off SmackDown.
That would be cool. I'm actually, I'll just segue this into topics for WrestleMania predictions for next year.
Oh, wow.
I think I'll begin with one of mine, which I think Rock, Roman, and winner's the tribal chief.
Yeah.
Tribal combat. Winner's the tribal chief.
I could have seen that for this upcoming SummerSlam. I don't think it's happening. But in my fantasy bookings in my mind, and some of it I said out loud on ringside and with friends, I could see Rock Roman for the tribal chief definitely being a match. I think if not next year, definitely the year after. Because I also think Rock Cody's got to happen at some point.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Cody Rock, SummerSlam. Rock, Solo, maybe Solo, Samoa Spikes, Cody.
Yep.
Rock, they look like they're gonna win. Roman comes out, helps Cody win, and that sets them up for Mania. That's what I think.
So Roman officially aligns himself as a babyface.
Yes.
I'd be down with it.
But he's still like Roman. He's just face Roman, or face like tribal chief Roman.
Yeah.
And then he would like beef with The Rock for the coming months, and then they'd face at Mania like they were supposed to before Cody arrived to finish the story.
I definitely think that could work. And if you want to make SummerSlam the party of the summer, like if you want to make it the second biggest pay-per-view, you got to do big things. They're obviously they're going to be in the Brown Stadium, but you have to have those big matches. Like a Cody Rock, that's Mania-esque. Having it there, I think, just legitimizes SummerSlam.
Yeah, and I just feel like Cody Rock wouldn't really make sense for a WrestleMania match, but I think it makes sense for a SummerSlam match. And I think that, I know Cody versus the Bloodline's a little overplayed at this point because it's been such a thing, but I think this would be marketed as like the last Cody versus Bloodline match, and then setting up Roman Rock's feud, and then maybe I'm hoping. I was thinking this. We sat next to each other watching WrestleMania, and I said this to you. I'm hoping to see Cody Gunther next year at Mania for the title. That's what I think would be best.
Yeah, I think Gunther is on that very short list of people that could legitimately dethrone Cody Rhodes. And I would love, as a Gunther fan, I would love to see him with the belt. I'd love it.
I think that would be cool, especially after losing his title to Sami Zayn this year.
What'd you think about that? Him losing the belt?
Yeah, it was weird because obviously it was the whole thing, Sami Zayn, the big underdog in Philly.
Yeah.
And it's interesting is even within the storytelling of WWE, kayfabe, script writing, all that, I still kind of thought, Gunther's going to win. Sami Zayn they'll put on a great match and Gunther would win. But then, like, as Gunther was, like, kind of taking control and was, like, trash-talking Sami Zayn's wife, I was thinking, usually when this happens, the guy who's, like, down and out wins. And I was thinking, like, would Sami Zayn actually win? And then he started, like, powering up on the ring. I'm like, oh, my God, Sami Zayn's going to actually win. And then he won.
Dude, that brain buster they did, well, one that takes two very, very skilled wrestlers to do, and both Gunther and Sami Zayn are. That was crazy. Like I think theatrics aside, that was the best match of the whole weekend for me. It was so good. Like it didn't match the theatrics of the main events.
Yeah,
but it was
the
just
technicality.
such a good technical match. I loved it.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I think Gunther would be great potential dethroner of Cody.
I'm with you.
Cody Rollins could make sense for Mania. I feel like that's been a little overplayed as well, Cody and Rollins.
Yeah. I think Seth's next beef, I think him and Roman are going to face off.
That would be cool.
I think they're going to face off at some point, but I also think you still have to do Rollins-Punk. If Punk comes back and is still healthy.
Or Punk McIntyre.
I could see that at SummerSlam. Punk
McIntyre. That actually would make more sense this summer. I don't know when Punk's going to be back, but I think Punk McIntyre, then maybe a Rollins-Punk thing at WrestleMania for maybe a belt, I would assume.
Maybe the World Heavyweight Championship. I could see that. I think Damian Priest isn't going to hold it for too long.
Yeah.
I could see... Now McIntyre's contract is running out, but I could see him winning it at Clash of the Castle. And then going from there, seeing who wins Money in the Bank.
Yeah, McIntyre, he had such a epic title run at WrestleMania this year.
He had it for 5.5 minutes.
I mean,
Yeah.
longer than I've ever had one. I will
Me
say
too.
that.
Me too.
So props to him.
It was in the moment. I was like, why are they doing this? Having Priest take it from him, but then in hindsight, I can really respect how they did that.
Yeah, and it's always like the heist of the century stuff.
Yeah.
Like even that's some more visual storytelling within wrestling. Like because that's what Rollins did.
Yep.
And then Rollins, of course, like Shield Rollins, and
Yeah.
Shield Rollins returns later that night.
He lost to Randy Orton in the earlier that night, and then in the Roman Brock, he took it. He joined in the middle of the match and then pinned Roman.
Yeah. Oh, was that the same WrestleMania where Randy Orton hit the sickest RKO
Yes.
ever on him?
Yeah.
When he like threw him like up in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy stuff. And yeah, that's kind of. Do you have any other like potential predictions for
WrestleMania?
like next year or anything that would build up to it throughout this coming year?
I could give you SummerSlam stuff.
Sure. Then we're kind of far out.
Yeah, I think Money in the Bank. I think for the men, I have a few guys in mind that you could pick. I wouldn't want LA Knight because I think LA Knight. I know a lot of people are saying LA Knight, but I think Knight's story is with the U.S. title right now. I think that's what would be the best for him. I could see a Braun Breaker getting it.
That would make sense.
That would be so cool. Braun Breaker gets it. I'd want to see Jey Uso with it. I think that would be fun.
Cashing in on,
I don't know, man. Just having it, and you could have him cash in on Roman, have him cash in on anyone. That'd be such a great pop, and I think Jey Uso could carry it. LA Knight, Logan Paul. I want to see for the U.S. title at SummerSlam. LA Knight takes it off of Logan in his hometown. That'd be sweet.
That would be kind of sweet.
I could see a with or without the belt, a Damian Priest Finn Balor happening.
That would make sense. I want to see Finn Balor in a match.
Yeah.
Of that caliber again.
Finn Balor, I think, should have a belt. Because Finn Balor's a good wrestler. And I don't know if he's won a belt. Like a world heavyweight belt like that before.
Well, I mean, he won the first one of the. I know when he was that first big match where he won a title and he got hurt.
Yeah, he had to vacate it.
He had to vacate it, which was I've always felt bad for him because like his trajectory was, and then he just lost, and then he got hurt, and he got kind of shuffled down the stretch of the company.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised he hasn't been someone who's left, like a Cody did, to seek higher highs. But I guess there's always time in the company, and yeah. Any last like SummerSlam Mania things you think could happen?
I can't wait to see what they do with Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy's coming back. Have you seen the cryptic QR codes and messages popping up in Raw? It's like when do you remember when The Fiend debuted?
Yes.
And they did all of or maybe not when The Fiend debuted, or maybe when The Fiend was returning, or Bray Wyatt was returning. They had like the QR code and the glitches in Raw. They're doing the same thing now.
Oh, nice.
And I think it's to build up Uncle Howdy returning.
Interesting.
Which I think would be sweet.
A lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we had that big wrestling conversation. Sorry.
Oh, it's
not
okay.
Not a lot was directed towards.
No. I enjoy listening to it. It's cool.
So we set the stage. So hoping Cody Gunther,
I'd
Rock
love to
Roman.
see that. Yeah. Great matches.
So now, kind of venturing onwards. I know you said you studied psych, which is very interesting. I'd like to ask you guys some things that people may not know about you.
Okay.
Oh, geez. I mean, I guess psych. I'm really interested in, as much as I am interested in, creativity and stuff like that. I think that other side of my brain, I really enjoy learning about how people work, why they do the things they do. And it's just, it does. I know a lot of people don't get why it ties into film or art or whatever, but I think it all intermingles into, the human experience and why we behave certain ways and how your mind functions. And I just think it's very interesting to learn about, all types of stuff. Like both creative and non-creative stuff. So I don't know. That was a very short answer. But
Oh, I mean,
know-
it's a very good one. I mean, that's one of the big reasons why I do this, to learn about people, learn about the things they do, learn about them.
You know what her favorite sandwich is? Peanut butter and jelly on Eggo waffles.
yes, it is.
Peak.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
not
peak.
healthy at all, but
It's not.
it's so
it's good though. It's good though.
Yeah.
I mean, we all need things like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
I might go have one right after this. Now, so, that's
She
celebration.
makes a mean one too.
Mm.
Yes. I minor in music and I play 2 instruments. I also really like Mario Kart Wii.
What instruments?
Drums and piano.
Excellent.
Ben is very talented.
Two good ones.
I'm learning piano, but I feel pretty good about my ability on the drums.
So Whiplash and La La Land.
I guess so. I've seen Whiplash. I haven't seen La La Land though.
Highly
So I'm
recommend.
not as
Very good.
Well,
Yeah?
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where my mind always goes.
Film?
Yeah,
Ben
yeah,
is
film.
also very good at trivia, like Jeopardy.
No,
and-
I'm not.
Yes, you.
No.
Okay.
You should've-
He's not gonna say
No.
he is, but he's very talented at trivia
Yeah.
and things like that.
No. You got to see me at Side Street. I'm abysmal compared to some of the other teams.
Yeah, I remember when I went on Ringside Radio with Jen and Connor, we did a wrestling trivia.
Right?
So I'm wondering, did you do that when you went on?
Connor and I, Jen was not there. She was covering a concert. So
Mm.
Connor and I did it together, and we did WrestleMania trivia.
Ah.
Oh, can I think of a question I asked them? Oh, I'll ask you one right now. Wait. Yeah, all right. What state has hosted the most WrestleManias?
What state?
Yep.
Oh, this is a tough one. I'll go with California.
That's right.
Nice.
That's right. Connor guessed New York
Hmm.
because a lot were in New York City, and that was second. But well, New York / New Jersey.
Yeah.
Was second, because of they've had Mania at MetLife twice,
Mm.
then a bunch at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
They had 2 in Atlantic City, actually,
Hmm.
Oh, really?
at
Yeah,
the Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall.
Yeah, I know when Cena beat The Rock for the title, that was in. Is that in
I
no,
think it was at MetLife,
MetLife? Yeah.
Yeah. where the Giants and Jets play.
So the more you know.
Yeah.
I learned a lot in that little exchange.
Yeah.
Unless there's anything else, you guys, any other hidden talents.
I play the flute. I
Hmm.
haven't in a while, but I did play the flute for a long time.
I'm trying to think of any other hidden talents you have. She is really good at making cards.
Cards.
Like
Oh,
a-
I don't
like
know
a-
if I'd call that
like
a
a
talent,
birth-
but-
Yes, it is. Like birthday cards, Valentine's cards, Christmas cards. She always makes beautiful ones.
Oh,
That's very nice.
Julia is very talented.
Oh, well, so is Ben.
She's really good at what she
Ben
does.
is very. I also with writing. You're a great writer, and you have a voice that I
I do
don't
have
think
a voice.
Well, yeah, but no, and not a lot of people have that you can
Hmm.
hear yourself in your writing, and I think you have a really great point of view in your writing. And Ben is very articulate and eloquent. I think, like you said earlier, you appreciate language, but you take your time to. What you say is not just filler. Like you actually care about what you say, and if that's through writing or you care a lot about what you have to say, which is I think says a lot about you and your character.
Thanks, honey.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yeah, man.
Great the way you guys advocate for each other.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I'm her biggest fan.
Me too.
Very sweet.
I hope I am.
I hope to be. I am for you too. I hope to. We both. I mean, we've been dating for 2.5 years, but I think we always want to grow and be the best versions we can for each other. And
Yeah.
Everyone needs a cheerleader
yes,
to
I think everyone
each other.
deserves one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
You're each other's Paul Heymans.
The reigning, defending,
The
undisputed director of photography,
Oh,
Julia
Oh,
Kusmenko.
no. My managing editor. I say editor wrong, but
That is how you'd say it.
Yeah, you're saying
Editor.
it quite literally. Editor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now carrying on, I'd like to ask you guys some of your hopes and dreams, whether it be professionally or in general.
Oh man. I gotta think.
That is a big question.
Mhm.
How about you, Ryan? I'd like to hear about your hopes.
Thank you.
Way to buy us more time.
Hell.
Exactly.
This
Stalling.
is my ploy all along.
Stalling. Yeah, a lot of it's just to continue to do things I really love doing, like filmmaking, writing, acting, and of course the Zicast. Just finding a way to do that, growing, meeting different people, going to different places. Nothing set in stone yet. But that's kind of my goals, as of this moment.
That's awesome.
But of course, I want to hear what you guys have to say. It doesn't have to be
first?
anything big. It's just
No. I think at this stage of your life, there's so many directions you could go in, which is, a beautiful thing, but it's also, I think a lot of people find that, including me, terrifying, that there's just so much possibility. I hope that, like, my dream, like, whatever I do, is that something that I find is meaningful and can be something that I believe in, whether that's a project I work on or people I meet, and, just hoping that what I do, I feel fulfilled by, and hoping that I can take what I do to help others and, just believe in that, in what I'm doing, and feel fulfilled by it. And then obviously, I'm kind of repeating myself, but to, share that and try to do my good stamp on the world to help other people.
I feel like my purpose in life is to, one, experience things. Like, I'm not one of those alpha sigma males that's like, my purpose is to build a business to or make $100 million in a year. Like, no. I think I see my purpose in life as just, one, to experience things, try and stay present, but two, I think to keep learning and keep growing. Well, professionally, I think what I do, I want to do the best possible work I can. And I want to keep growing, in whatever craft I do, whether that's journalism, whether that's teaching, heck, maybe I'll become a filmmaker one day. I don't know. Just to keep learning. Also have some fun. Watch wrestling, enjoy wrestling. Hopefully I get to see Tottenham win a trophy one day. That's my favorite soccer team, and
nice.
They're notorious for not winning trophies.
And he's
So
a
I
big
hope.
Mets fan, too.
Yeah.
Tottenham.
Two
Mets.
losers. but
No.
They're my teams.
Loyalty.
Build hobbies, build things I like doing. I guess something else. It's personal. I also wanna be a dad one day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
how sweet is that? Yeah. So some amazing goals from amazing people.
Aw.
And
Thank you, Ryan.
I know you guys are going to continue to grow, continue to do fun things. Like I always say, this is an inherently unfair question because we're 20, 21 years
Yeah, I
old.
have no idea what's gonna happen.
So it's kind of great to put these things. I always say it's great to just put things out in the world, and we're able to do that. So now I'd like to ask you guys kind of what I call a golden question. What
Yeah.
are some of your favorite movies?
Oh, okay.
I don't have really a good answer to this question because I'm very indecisive. There's probably 30 movies that are probably on that list. But, I think one of my first favorites was The Princess Bride. Just as a kid, it has all the elements that you'd be interested in. I'm trying to get Ben to see Ocean's 11. Just as a visually it's stunning movie and
Would you recommend it, Ryan?
Yes, it's funny. I came across the director of the movie at Sundance.
Okay.
Did you actually?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
I did.
God.
I could tell you a bit about it after. But yeah, I mean, a lot of
That's
fast.
really cool.
Yeah, a lot of fast editing, very crisp dialogue, a lot of cool acting, very smooth, graceful movie. Very, very watchable, very accessible. I think you'd like it.
Okay.
Also, I love the Rocky movies.
Adrian, yo, Adrian.
Yeah. I don't know, but that list just keeps going and going. So I'm not very decisive.
Princess Bride, the Rocky franchise, and Ocean's 11. Okay.
Those are solid.
I'm sorry about my terrible Rocky Balboa impression there. I saw the first one at her house. Yo, Adrian. For me, my favorite movie is The Shawshank Redemption.
I think. Yeah.
It's a solid.
I love the storytelling in it. I think it has some of the most powerful scenes in movies I've ever seen. Like, my favorite scene ever is probably Red's final parole hearing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly. I mean, I love the movie too.
I love.
And the shift in his story.
Yeah. Because the last scene, it seems like the time where he doesn't care at all whether he gets released. He gets released because they see he's not being performative and he's actually sorry about what he did. The storytelling in that is just so good. I love Ratatouille. I know animated movies get a chop for being kids' movies, but I think they can have amazing messages for adults. I watch TV more than I watch movies, so I could give you some of my favorite TV shows too.
Go ahead.
The Sopranos.
Yeah,
we
excellent
just
one.
finished
Sopranos.
it over.
It has a very controversial ending, but I think it's the best ending for a TV show I've ever seen. Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, I love.
2 of my favorites. 3 of my favorites, really.
Yeah. I'm currently watching Parks and Rec. I think it's really funny too. Back to movies, I'd say Shawshank, Ratatouille, and I really liked The Shining when I saw it. I really liked The Shining.
A lot of great choices.
Yeah.
Those Sopranos, New Jersey, goes hand in hand.
Yes.
Yes.
Sopranos is amazing.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And this house, Julius Kusmenko and Ben Yeargin are heroes. End of story.
And Ryan Ziaks.
Thank you. And Caitlin Turner.
Yes. Yes.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back
in.
in.
Excellent. Some really great choices. And so, with all that said, do you guys have any parting words or thoughts?
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'd like to say that I think this is really cool what you do.
Thank you.
With your podcast. I know a lot of people have podcasts, but I think it's I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Not very eloquent, but I think you're doing a great job. And
Thank you
it's
so
really
much.
cool what you're doing.
I respect you wanting to try something new, because I know you don't come from a background of interviewing people. And I really commend you for trying to and honestly succeeding in getting to know your friends and getting to know people on a deeper level than just a, hey, how are you? How's your day? Or I really respect that. And someone that does interview a lot of people. I enjoyed this a lot, so thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, of course.
I'll talk about wrestling anytime with you.
Definitely, me as well. And yeah, I do this because I'm blessed to know a lot of really great people like you. And it's like, I just want to just be able to take advantage of knowing so many awesome people and to be able to get them on here and talk to them. It's really an incredible blessing. And of course, you guys, always 2 very friendly faces.
Aw.
Thank you.
Every time I see you, it's always a positive interaction. So,
well, you too, Ryan. We love talking to you.
Yeah.
And that's why, we've been bouncing some questions off of you because, you always ask everybody else, but you got your story too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now I've got to finish the story. But yeah, always 2 friendly faces. Always a great time. So I knew I had to have you on here. So kind of with that all said, this is Ryan Ziaks with the Zicast, where everyone has a story. Signing off. Thank you so much for watching.